Hello peeps and hello peppers, as promised, recap time, and I have like 15 minutes before I have to go to my next appointment. So maybe I should like bring some order into the here before that appointment takes place. This week was actually shaped by, I would say, three major events. The creative writing class that was like 3 days really intense. The lecture series on work participation for the disabled, mostly from the view of people who had a disability in a wider sense or whose relatives had one. So I would say like really realistic experience. And the Disabled People Art Festival. I don't know if I guess should say it's a disability art festival, because like when I did disability studies back in the day, they told me there was a difference between like any random piece of art by people who just so happen to have a disability, or disability art, which is a political vehicle. And I would say I'm right in between, because I'm actually going to such events to paint the event or to paint something inspired by the event and to create conversation. Um, so yes, I had a lot of good conversations, and I had a lot of let's say ideas how to shape my future. The ideas are not really ripe yet, but I learned a cool new word that's called disability confidence. That means like non-disabled people having the confidence to interact or work with disabled people. So I would basically say that's the difference between like treating Fruity the Walker or my odd way of talking as natural as possible, or with like, oh, that cannot be here, we need that differently, and that is bothering, and so on. So, yes, actually, I would also say this week made me, in a good way, a little bit more picky with who I want to spend my time, under what circumstances. And I love it because, like, the writing class was so cool. I mean, some things in the writing class were actually, I wouldn't say no brainers, but they, like, relatively simple things that um, I would not have thought about, if that makes sense. So I got the tools to structure my writing better. Like the story about the people in the small town who have interesting hobbies and a dead body where it doesn't belong. It does have a sequel connected to one of my favorite pieces of music, where nobody knows who made that piece of music. And let's say this is probably always going to be a mystery, but let's say I want to uh, write about like one idea what might have happened, like with respect and love. And I mean, if the mystery song really gets identified in a more or less like scientific or at least reasonably backed up way, uh, then I will just kind of insert another song with different lyrics. But let's say to me, this writing also gives me ideas what might have happened, and now I'm even having the idea how to structure my thoughts and how to back them up. And like, yeah, the people in the small town are getting to solve another mystery, and that also means I'm probably getting to go to the small town more often and eat the classical pastry of that small town more often. So I'm looking forward to research trips for to be in like actually really going on my way to become a recognized artist, because like the more interesting encounters with interesting people I have, and the more people actually give me understandable ideas for structuring myself, the more I see I can create work for myself. And I find that really cool, because that means I'm not sitting on the sofa like a sleeping cat anymore. I'm not feeling as helpless as I used to be. Of course, this was also something that was mentioned in the set of lectures. We don't have to be able to like capitalize on everything, but well, how am I going to put this? Like ages ago, I read a self-help book where about time management, and the author of this book, I don't remember what the book was called, asked if your time in a day were a bank account, would you give everybody access to your bank account? Which 99% of people probably won't do. So yes, I am thinking like everything where I'm learning something, where I'm also learning something about people and about communication, actually enriches my time bank account, because then I can sort out what is most important to me, and then I can manage my time better. Then I can also, for that matter, manage my money better and my energy. And I would say this week was an overall success. I mean, like the NaNoWriMo, the National Novel Writing Month, has also started. So this is the month where I'm trying to do something on Instagram or YouTube every day, as I was called last year, a small author tuber. I didn't even know that was a word. So yeah, here goes another word for the collection. I haven't written so many words, but as I learned in the creative writing class, the important thing is to write something every day. And like, even if it's just 15 minutes. Like, let's say in reality, no one controls that, and except for myself. And let's say these forums to the effect, like on the internet, actually distract me more than they help me. I also attended like a silent writing group. Like, I mean, it was really like an obvious concept that the people were relatively silent. Or let's say there was a silent table and a talking table. And I think actually this is a really cool idea, because then people can decide if they want to work without talking, or if they want to talk, or also if they want to talk about like concrete things. And like, it's a little bit self-explaining that you're not ultra loud there. So that actually helped me a lot. I think I've never been so well prepared for a NaNoWriMo as this time. I have a complete story lined out. Okay, some parts of the logic are still missing, but there we go again with a creative writing class. That, like, you shouldn't stop yourself all the time. Yeah, here you need research and here you need logics. First, write, and then you can still check this out. And I think the logic will come in good time. Like, I think with the first small town story, with this cardamom cake, I ruined a lot by asking 5 different people, okay, and this is not logical, and how do I have to do this, and how do I have to do that? And so now I'm just, let's say, writing whatever comes, but in the right order, or at least to have the right order overview thing by the side. Because now I've also heard several people who said they only manage NaNoWriMo because they have prepared themselves. and I also learned this weekend that I can't set up an art display in an organized way. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So this is where I will always have to kind of call people for help, and I guess I will also have to ask my team a lot of questions. I know that sounds mutually exclusive, but let's say what I take home from this week is, like, first try it by myself to write the book with the organization that I set up for myself. And then, if that still doesn't work, just show the whole document to someone who sort of understands how I think, but who is not me, because I'm actually, let's say, it's one of my funny flaws that I see with humor, but that can also cause problems, that I actually always think other people know the exact same stuff as I do. And I talk in very disconnected ways. And I mean, like, I'm so happy when my friends ask stuff of type, like, are we still talking about your book, or are we already talking about people you met in reality? Or, like, what does A have to do with B? Like, because that shows me that the people actually pay attention and don't just go like, yeah, 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 let her talk. I like this real, like, communicating with each other, and, like, talking about this disability confidence actually also reminded me of the thought that with some people I either meet in the middle or I don't. Like, I mean, there are some environments and facilities where I only can go in with a walking stick, and I was so happy in the lecture series that people actually said there are laws, but not everybody reinforces those laws. But, like, okay, I mean, of course it's a bad thing if you let's say, don't take disability laws seriously. But the point is that how am I going to word this? I am always kind of angry when people tell me you should insist on a job interview, or you should insist in bringing your da 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 into this house because the law says so. No, because A, not all people know that the law says so. B, there are always 1,000 exceptions. And C, I can't force people by law to like me. So either the people can meet me on some terms that work for both of us, or they can't. And let's say, usually I wouldn't fit Ferdy the Walker into the passenger space of an airplane, for instance. Like, he has to go into the belly, or he just stays home and the stick comes into the passenger cabin with a doctor's note that I need it. And my sticks are foldable, so they fit into my handbag. So I think this, like, communicating and doing things together is always a two-way road. And like, let's say, of course, laws set a good sign to society, but, like, putting the laws to practice also requires society to learn to understand how this and that really functions. Like, a guide dog is usually not a pet, and it usually has special training and etc. And my stick is usually a support medium. So I wish you a wonderful Sunday night. Bye bye.